The Great Indian Kitchen commences with a frame in which we see Nimisha dancing with joy. This seems to be her safe space, a place where she can express herself, an avenue where she can just be. And the film from this point carries on to showcase that same girl who had that joyous and happy spirit, portraying the role of what is expected of her in society. This is a film for which I have received innumerable recommendations, and being a product from Kerala, an industry of whom I am a huge fan of, especially for its storytelling and treatment, The Great Indian Kitchen seemed to be the perfect fit to start the week. Available on the Stream platform, this Malayalam film focuses on an arranged marriage and how the woman has to assimilate, understand, and contribute with respect to the family and its customs and traditions. You might wonder how this is not a selling point regarding the film, as I just described to you, possibly the most basic premise for a film. But this is the sheer beauty of this gem created by Geo Baby. The ability to elevate a basic storyline and say so much from a social context is a huge compliment to the creators of any product. The Great Indian Kitchen has stayed with me for more than a day now, and I can't get over the amazing detailing and convincing storytelling this film represents. One of the elements of Indian cinema, be it any state, is that there is a need for creators to spell out things for the audience. I sometimes feel there is a lack of respect regarding communication. The creators simply undermining the intellect of the audience to understand nuanced and layered topics. What I love about Malayalam cinema and the Great Indian Kitchen specifically is that the message is delivered through the actions that take place in the palatial house. What should entail a sense of opulence and benevolence actually reside human characteristics that are quite contrary to what the physical space represents. There are clear gender roles that have been defined in this household. The girl who is married into the family has little to no knowledge of the social customs and thought processes of several members. She took the plunge, like many women all over India, to take the risk of spending their life with someone, with the hope that they get along. While the film tries to talk about the regressive customs that still prevail in the country and what is expected of women in a household, a clear patriarchal setup where they are enslaved that identifies them as caretakers rather than better halves, this film does not dwell into showcasing the plight of women through an emotional monologue or a gut-wrenching soundtrack. It believes in communicating the suffocation through actions. And I feel this communicates far more than the director spelling out the trauma and damage one may feel. Through the cinematography of Salu K. Thomas, we get long shots of Nimisha just slaving away in the kitchen. While the father-in-law of the house sleeps near the angan, we see the new bride of the family with her mother-in-law breaking a sweat to make the perfect meal for the family. The movie showcases several overhead shots of the aftermath of meals. A complete lack of kindness and empathy is clear through the grimy table of spilled leftovers and the loaded sink of unwashed dishes. The women assume their role, clean up, and eat the leftovers, while still having to provide another meal to the best of their ability, as the men expect nothing but perfection. There is a beautiful contrast constantly shown as the women manage the upkeep of the house, as the men either wait for their toothbrush being delivered to them or do yoga poses to start the day. Or my favorite, the husband talking about the values of a family to his class in his school, while his wife does all the chores of the house. This minimalistic portrayal of what may seem menial to us but are the essential elements of our daily subsistence actually impact to a far greater level than the soppy so-called women-oriented films that force-feed the idea of the plight of women. When a film communicates what you may have seen in your own house and scoffed that it's not a big deal, it actually says a lot about the conviction with which the film has communicated the message. This film made me think about the several instances of institutionalized sexism that is both a cause of men perpetuating it and women dealing with it for several generations. This film also makes you reflect on what is clearly a privilege. 3-course meals in a house somehow is expected of many, but what goes into providing that perfect meal is often overlooked. How many times have we seen people roll their eyes at individuals who are busy being homemakers? We scoff and belittle it because of its social context, but barely understand what goes into the upkeep of a home on a daily basis. This film also made me remember the many mothers in Hindi cinema that I fell in love with and were acknowledged only partly for their contribution. Supriya Pathak from Wake Up Sid and Sri Devi from English Winglish come to my mind, whose role in the family dynamic was often undermined but was so significant. They deal with the lack of respect and the blatant sexism that is thrown at them, but persevere to understand and hope maybe one day their family members can have a more dynamic outlook towards gender roles. The performances in The Great Indian Kitchen took me aback because of their sheer realistic execution. It often seemed like a camera was placed in a real household and we assumed the role of just noticing their dynamic. This is both a testament to the director as well as the brilliant performances of the cast. While all the background artists and supporting cast members do a brilliant job, this film is set around the newly married couple played by Nimisha and Suraj. Suraj is a man who is a product of his upbringing. He is made to believe all his life that men are supposed to work and provide monetarily, while women are to bear children and provide for the family, but just through the kitchen. In his eyes, he thinks he is kind by even considering the fact that his wife wants to work. But it represents the cocoon in which many individuals grow and thrive, believing that there is no room for change. Suraj is not an evil man, but he can't help but communicate the way he has been brought up. Nimisha, however, perfectly portrays the rather scary predicament many women find themselves in. It's literally a toss of the coin of the roles one has to assume after an arranged marriage. Her transition from a wide-eyed, always smiling individual, even fancying her own husband initially, to eventually understand the dated customs and traditions the family follows, you slowly see the spirit of this expressive girl completely vanish. I remember first seeing Nimisha in Ida, and she was phenomenal. What I love about her look in the film also is that it best represents what would be the state of anyone managing so many aspects. The frizzled hair, the sense of exhaustion in her eyes, it's all too real. Several moments of this film truly tugged at me emotionally, be it the girl suggesting foreplay due to vaginal soreness, which is scoffed at for the basic knowledge of knowing what foreplay may be, or the abusive dealing of the most natural process in a woman's life, menstruation, where she is treated as an untouchable in her own household. What are considered as unsaid rules, if you think about them even more with an analytical mind, you will be shocked to notice how less of an equal union marriage is designed to be in so many cases. Is your role that of a wife that equally contributes, or of a domestic help hired for free that even gives consent for sex at night? The several instances of criticism of the quality of the food, the method in which the clothes are washed, all of it seems so familiar from many family dynamics one may have experienced in their own life, of disapproval rather than gratefulness. The Great Indian Kitchen is a special film, a film that all of you should watch on the Stream app. It's one for the ages and one for cinema, and Kerala does it yet again with its brilliant storytelling. And that was a video, guys. Write down in the comments below what you thought about the movie. Please don't forget to follow me on Instagram, the handle's right in front of you. Follow me at JammyPants4. Also, please support us by smashing the like button and subscribing to our channel for weekly content ahead. Thank you for watching.